Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am super excited for today's video. I saw my friend Emily from Emily and Max or McKinnis Mama do this video last year where she talked about books on her bookshelf that were going to self-destruct by the end of the year if she didn't read them. So I have 15 books that I have pulled off of my shelves that I have owned for well over at least 1 year at this point in time, and I need to just read them this year, or I need to just realize that I likely will not read them at all and they can exit my collection. So if you're interested in those 15 books, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel, I would love for you to consider doing so before moving on. I also have a main channel where I post about all things beauty. I'll leave that channel link down below in case you're interested in checking that out as well. But if you're interested in the books, let's just get right into it. Okay, I really tried to focus on books. A lot of these books I purchased right as I was really getting into reading again. And I remember being so excited for many of these books, but I feel like once a book has sat on your shelf for at least a year, it loses that spark of excitement, and chances just get slimmer and slimmer that, at least for me, I'm gonna pull those books off my shelf to read. So in no particular order, I'm just gonna go in terms of the stack of books in front of me, but this book has definitely been on my shelf the longest. This is something that I owned before I even was separated. This moved with me. It is The Rules of Magic, and I feel like I purchased this when I was thinking I was gonna get into reading, and then I didn't. I ended up picking this up just spur of the moment at Target, and I feel like I had seen, I saw New York Times bestseller, and I thought I had heard really good things about this book. And I was just I don't know, in the mood. It might have been around spooky season. I think I was just in the mood for something witchy. So it says that this book, I believe, is set in well, there was a curse that was set in the 1600s. And now hundreds of years later, it's set in 1960s New York. So I do actually feel like I would like the setting of this book. It says that Susanna Owens knows her 3 children are dangerously unique. And I think basically she understands that they have these witchy abilities, but she wants them to follow the rules so they don't get caught and don't get in trouble. That's essentially what I'm getting. I'm sure that's completely butchering what this is about. There's also a little blurb from Jodi Picoult, who is used to be a favorite author of mine, but I actually feel like I should read this October. I feel like I would really like this. So fingers crossed we get back to this in October. Next up, I have The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. This is the same author that wrote The Night Circus, and I actually have repurchased Night Circus. I read that back in middle school, and I remember finishing that book and being this is the best book I've ever read. So I want to reread that book to see if I still feel the same way. But I picked this up because I had heard so many great things about it, and I knew in the past at least I had liked Erin Morgenstern's writing. But this also just is a very intimidating, not inside my comfort zone sort of book, which is why I feel like I've struggled so much to pick this up, even though I feel like everybody recommends this book. It says, far beneath the surface of the earth, upon the shores of the Starless Sea, there is a labyrinth collection of tunnels and rooms filled with stories. The entryways that lead to the sanctuary are often hidden, but those who seek will find. Their doors have been waiting for them. Zachary Ezra Rollins is searching for his door, though he does not know it. When he discovers a mysterious book in the stacks of his campus library, he begins to read and is entranced. Suddenly, a turn of the page brings Zachary to a story from his own childhood. A bee, a key, a sword emblazoned on the book led Zachary to 2 people who would change the course of his life. Okay. That actually does sound really good. It just seems intimidating. I feel like I don't know if I'm intelligent enough to read this, but I want to get around to that one. This one, I don't know if I'm going to get around to, and I feel like historical fiction is just not generally my genre, but I picked this up because the setting is New York, and I feel like it's high class or high society New York. It says, on the last night of 1937, 25-year-old Katie Content is in a second-rate Greenwich Village jazz bar when Tinker Gray, a handsome banker, happens to sit at the neighboring table. This chance encounter and its startling consequences propel her on a lifelong journey toward the upper echelons of New York society, where she will have little to rely on she will have little to rely upon other than her bracing wit and her own brand of cool nerve. I do like, I feel like I will like the setting. That is like what's getting to me. Like the New York setting, I feel like I will really like, but the historical fiction aspect is what really holds me back. I do also really want to get to that. Take a shot every time I say that. Okay, next up I have The Mistake, which is I believe the second book in the off-campus series. If this isn't, basically I want to read at least the second book in the off-campus series. I have all 4, maybe this isn't correct, whatever. I read The Deal and really liked it, but that was when I was first getting into reading, and then I tried to pick, I think, this book up, and I just wasn't as into it, and I just don't know if I like care enough to read the series, and I'd be interested if I went back and read The Deal. Would I still think it's like a 5-star? I feel like that book is like what I needed at the point in life when I read it, but I'm like, would I really think it's a 5-star? So this is one that I'm like not as excited. Like these, I actually am like, okay, I do want to get to these. I feel like I would enjoy all these. This one I'm kind of just like, meh. But if I'm not going to continue on in the series, I just need to like pass the series along to someone who is going to read it. Okay, then I have The Invitation by Lucy Foley, and I read The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, really liked it. Did not like, what was it? Was it like the, oh, it was about the, like, unlike, like, not The Hunting Party, but the other one. Did not like that book. This I thought was interesting because it's not like a mystery or like a thriller. So this one is about Hal and Stella, and they like have like this chance encounter meeting. I believe they have like this really fun night, but then they go their separate ways and like never see each other again. But then they both get invited to a party on a yacht, I believe, and it's set in Rome 1953. I think, again, what's holding me back is the historical fiction part of this, like being set in the 50s, but it's also like Rome. The Guest List, that's the book I didn't like. I don't know, I feel like this could also be like a really good book as well though. So this is one, I am setting 2 stacks. Ones that like, I'm like, I really do want to get to these, and then ones I'm like, not a priority. Okay, next up I have The Intimacy Experiment by Rosie Danan, author of The Roommate. I read The Roommate and I did really enjoy it. I was really entertained. So I picked this book up because this follows characters from The Roommate. And as you can see, there's the bookmark in here. I've read through page 102 of this, and I just like could not get into this. I was extremely bored by the characters, and I just was bored. I don't know, I just was not in the mood for it. So I either need to like actually finish this book this year. I still would have, how many pages? 200 pages. Like I should just read this. But if I don't, like, we just need to say goodbye. Okay, next from K.A. Tucker, I have Say You Still Love Me. I have gone on to purchase Simple Wild, which is, I believe, the first book in K.A. Tucker's like trilogy. There's like a series. This I was like really excited about. I feel like I need to read this maybe like in the fall time. It's giving like cozy fall vibes. I believe it's about like, there's like, on one hand, she's a 29-year-old VP at her dad's multi-billion-dollar real estate development firm and living with her 2 best friends in a swanky downtown penthouse. On the other, she constantly has to prove her worth in a male-dominated world. Things get exponentially more complicated for Piper when she runs into Kyle Miller, the handsome new security guard at the Callaway Group, and coincidentally, the first love of her life. Ooh, okay, so maybe it's second chance romance. Maybe I would actually like this because I did really enjoy Love in Other Words, which was second chance romance. So I just feel like this is not on my shelf, and I like I always look at it and I like never feel excited to pick it up. So that's why I'm like, do I want it anymore? Okay, this next stack of even 1, 2, 3, 4, the next stack of 6 I all purchased right around the same time, again when I was really like just starting to be excited about reading again, and I feel like I just like was buying books without thinking too hard about them, and it was right around like September, October time frame. So there's a couple of like witchy books, and I'm like, I just don't know if I care about these. These are definitely like, these are going in the like not priority. But I have Cackle by Rachel Harrison, and this is, it says a darkly funny, frightening novel about a young woman meeting a witch who might be too good to be true. So witchy vibes. And then I have Payback's a Witch. The witch is back and ready for a revenge with a little help from her friends in this fresh, sizzling rom-com. We'll see. I'm not super excited about those. I just like, I'm always like fearful to pick up a book that I feel like is gonna be like a 3-star, because I fear it's gonna be like the book that just like sets me into a reading slump. So that's like part of the hesitation. Next I have Velvet Was the Night by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, and I thought this was by the same author, but it's not. Okay, are we sure? Yeah, it's really not. Interesting. This I picked up. I really liked the cover. And I started to read this. This is set in Mexico in the 1970s. And it's about, I think it's about a reporter and a detective trying to find like this missing woman. The first 11 pages, I was like so confused. I could not get into this. I don't know if I'm gonna end up reading this one. I feel like I read the reviews then too, and I was like, that's not a priority either. Then I have The Lost Apothecary. I don't know if I ever say that word right. I just don't know if this is something that just like sparks joy in my soul. Set in 18th century London. I do like the London setting, but I believe it's about an apothecary shop owner who like basically sets poisons, maybe? Men who like are disloyal to their partners. Am I making that up? I might be. I just don't know if I care about this. Okay. The Confidence of Wildflowers. I know that this is age gap romance. I know that this is like a polarizing book. Like I feel like you either love it or hate it. And I know that there is a trigger warning, I believe, of cancer in this book. And I've read so many people say the last like 10% of this book literally ruins the book. And I feel like ever since hearing that, I just don't know if I can handle this. If you guys don't know, my dad passed away 9 years ago due to cancer. So I just don't know like if this is gonna be too triggering. I'm honestly not certain. I don't know that I've cried from a book since, I feel like I'm a black-souled bitch. But since picking reading back up, back in the day I used to, but I actually like, I had a heart then. Now I'm like, my heart has been tainted by the world. So maybe this would be a book that made me cry. Who knows? I don't know. I'm scared to read it though. Okay, then I have Kingdom of the Wicked, and I feel like I have been like excited to read this, but I feel like the reviews are just not like super great, and I just haven't gotten around to picking it up. I don't own the other 2 books, thankfully. I just own the first book in the trilogy. I feel like I've heard good and bad things. I don't know. Maybe I should pick this up. It's about Emelina and her twin sister. Both are witches, and I believe one is murdered. Yes. And then Emelina sets out to find her sister's killer and to seek vengeance at any cost, even if it means using dark magic. The magical element I feel like really does speak to me. Like that makes me excited, but I just feel like I've read reviews and the reviews haven't been like that great. So that's like holding me back. If you guys have read that, let me know. The final 2 books. Okay. This book, Reputation, I just like picked up on a whim at Barnes & Noble. People were saying this was similar to Olivia Pope, The Popcorn. Why can I never think of the name of the show? Scandal. People were saying this is similar to Scandal, which I loved that show. So I was like, yes, please. And then I've like just not picked it up. It says, it takes a lifetime to build a reputation and just one moment to destroy it. Emma Webster is a respectable politician. She is a devoted mother and innocent of murder. Emma Webster is also a liar. There are the stories you tell about yourself and the ones others choose to believe. Ooh, Sarah Bond brilliantly weaves together a taut courtroom drama, expertly plotted thriller. Okay, we need to get around to reading this because I feel like I will actually really like this. This is high on the priority list. And then the last book is from Jamie Brenner. It is Guilt. This one right here. I picked this up again at Barnes & Noble kind of on a whim. This may have been recommended, like Samantha March may have rated this 5 stars, and I was like very interested in it. I believe it's about a family who owns a diamond business, and it kind of like tears the sisters apart. And then more than a decade later, their only granddaughter is still reconciling the reality of her mother's death. Oh, so someone dies and then they all get back together? I don't know. Can you tell I'm not in the mood to like figure out what these books are even about? Can you tell I care so little about these books? I don't really even know what they're about, but all I know is that if by the end of 2024 I have not read these books, we need to get rid of them and y'all need to hold me accountable. That is gonna wrap it up for today's video. These are the books on my bookshelf that are gonna self-destruct if not read by the end of the year. I would love to know if you have any books on your shelf you feel the same way about. Let a girl know in the comments below. If you've read any of these and either recommend or would recommend me not reading them, also let me know. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting me and my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.